Hey guys, how's it going?
Oh, it's Crip! Let's fucking go!
And welcome to ExileCon!
Yeah, show me some of that tummy. That's what I'm talking about. I get that. I'm showing some of my tum on
Thank you all
down
so
here.
much for joining us here in New Zealand. It's quite a journey. Thank you guys for joining us online. It's going to be a fantastic show. So you guys want to learn about what's coming up in Path of Exile?
No!
Oh, you do? Yeah, me too. Yeah. Well, before we get to the people that are best to deliver that information, before we get into Path of Exile's wonderful future, let's take a moment to go over all the wonderful things we have already experienced in Path of Exile.
Dude, Crip's doing a great job.
To check out Path of Exile.
Do you see these pauses and just taking his time, doing a little quick think, oh hey, let's talk about the next part of the sentence. Like, it's a natural thing that people do is they start to get out and they start to try to talk really fast and all this sort of stuff. I mean, that like, honestly, that's something that I personally try to deliberately work against by being like, all right, I'm gonna talk, 1, 2, 3, talk again, 1, 2, 3, talk again, and just like, do that sort of deliberate pacing. I mean, that's fucking pro delivery from Crip up there. Seemed a mix of earnest and natural and enthusiastic. That's fucking hard to do, man. They should fire me from PC Gaming Show, for being honest. God, Path of Exile's been around really for a long time, huh?
Let me tell you, gaze into the abyss.
Wasn't 2015-16 when they started to do the super regular league structure? Was that right?
What in damnation have you done?
What in damnation have you done? Don't you start meowing, Sheriff. League were always around, I think. I don't believe they were, because I remember watching a talk where Chris Wilson talked about Crip literally being the one who proposed this idea.
Afraid of the dark, Exile? You should be.
Sorry, I'm like talking like way louder than I need to. Pull this down just a smidge. What up, Slims Vamp? Happy 102 months in a row. All right, let's watch for when I start playing. Coming up in a few years here. Conquerors of the Atlas.
Still sane, Exile.
Dude, the graphical fidelity has gotten so good in this game.
This one should be rather legitimate.
Rather legitimate.
Does the toy wish to play with me?
That is a good looking environment.
Your path to greatness has taken a hard turn toward a cliff.
Detonations incoming!
Detonations!
There's no time.
All right. Oh yeah.
To sustain the blood crucible.
A lot of things of the Atlas. There's Siege of the Shawn trailer coming up, huh? Oh yeah, Kalandra. Oh yeah, Kalandra. I played Kalandra. Crucible. Oh yeah, I played that. I missed one of the. I missed the first one that I played because I was moving around. Oh yeah. Oh dude, I remember when I saw this trailer, I was just like, Oh my god, yeah. There's the one, like, moving thing in the desert. I don't know how to describe it better, but I'll just, like, point aggressively when it shows up. Cronus, what's the login mean? What does this login mean? Damakan. It's an emote. Ah, It's some TV emote of launching viewer from desktop. All right, Chris Wilson, why don't you come out and say hype shit in the most calm, thoughtful, and mild way ever? Look at this sweet man. Look at this man just exuding goodness and wish for high RNG drops.
From Grinding Gear Games.
Oh, dude, fucking Chris Wilson.
Welcome to ExileCon 2023. It feels like just yesterday that I was here on stage at ExileCon 2019 announcing Path of Exile 2. Since then, we have worked tirelessly on the content we're going to show you this weekend. To everyone here in person, thank you so much for coming out to join us. It honestly feels so good to know that people love Path of Exile so much that they fly across the world to come and celebrate it with us in person here.
In Middle
I really
Earth.
hope you have a great trip and make the most of your time in New Zealand. Our last ExileCon was a magical experience, and we've tried to go above and beyond in every way.
Wolf says, damn, he's so nervous and excited.
Online to watch
and
the live
handling
stream,
it, man.
Thanks for joining us also. I wish you could all be with us here, but to ensure you have the full ExileCon experience, we have made sure to include every talk and session as part of the 2-day live stream this weekend. Twitch drops are enabled for the live stream, but if you're in the audience, you'll automatically get them when you redeem the microtransaction code in your swag bag, so no need to stream it from your phones while you're watching. You'll also receive the attendee-only ExileCon 2023 hideout. We have so much to share with you this weekend, and let's
little
just get
details
right
like
into Path of
that
Exile
is
2.
like the crux of
I'd
doing
like to
live
introduce
event work.
Jonathan Rogers and Mark Roberts, game directors of Path of Exile 2.
Like little things like, oh yeah, if you want the drops, they're already in your bag, so don't worry about that. Like, so many live events are plagued by obnoxious things like that.
Hey guys. While Chris has been running Path of Exile 1, Mark and I and over 100 other developers have been hard at work on PoE 2. And honestly, the project has become much bigger than we expected when we announced it in 2019. It's been almost 4 years since then, and so it's about time we showed you what we've been working on. Oh, hang on.
All right, yep, okay, good. This is a live event.
Okay. Sorry, I forgot. Okay. When we announced Path of Exile 2 at ExileCon 2019, we told you guys that we were releasing it as an expansion to PoE 1 and that both campaigns would be playable in the same game client with a shared endgame. But PoE 2's scope has continued to grow and grow, and it's far more than just an expansion with a
Not
new
pre-recorded?
campaign.
Yeah, fuck
It is
yeah.
entirely new monsters, skills, mechanics, classes, everything you'd expect from the next generation of action RPGs. Not to mention revamps of most of the PoE 1 League content. This thing is just freaking huge.
Revamps.
There was a point when we realized that our plan to replace PoE 1 with PoE 2 would essentially be getting rid of a game that people love for no real reason. So we made a decision. Path of Exile 1 and 2.
We saw what happened with Overwatch 2 and thought,
balance games and leagues. But it's still a shared platform. Your microtransactions are available across both games. Everything you have ever purchased or will ever purchase in the future will be usable in both games unless it's hyper-specific to the content of one of them.
Jesus.
You can't transform into a bear in PoE 1, so a reskin of your bear form isn't going to work. But you absolutely can equip the awesome armor set that you got and use all your stash tabs. So with that in mind, we'd love to show you a live demo of some of the stuff we've been working on. PoE 2 has come a long way. Mark here is going to man the PC. Hopefully he doesn't die. It is a live gameplay demo after all.
Dude, I hope it does die. Well, actually, if I were there, I love when shit goes wrong on stage. I think it's just so funny, man. Yeah, you're a good cat. Oh,
The
yeah.
gods caused all this, you know. After Oriath was destroyed, I traveled.
Oh my
searching for
God, that
answers.
looks good.
Everywhere
Oh,
I went,
yeah.
the same divine devastation. It must end. I will end it. And no exile will stop me.
She does one of those. Oh, what? Fuck yeah, we got jumps. You'll shout Templar. Oh, there's Paladin 9. Warrior? This is... Oh, this is a lot of classes. Yo, what the fuck? Look, we can actually stop soon if you want. Okay, there we go. Oh, dude. Oh my god, dude, art assets that look good from one angle is so much more manageable than the kind of zoom-ins that they're doing. Oh, look, it's me. Oh, yeah, I'm eating a burrito on stream. Dude, look at the dust effects. Just the particulate physics is incredible. Oh, Crablar. Any sea creature is a Crablar, by the way. Oh, welcome. Well, if you enjoyed me in Caelid, you'll love me in Path of Exile too. Dude. Dude. God. Dude. Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, just hang on the tentacles. 100? 600? 100 bosses? Of course. What? 36 Ascendancy classes? Alright. Jesus. 6-person co-op?
This world will be reborn, no matter the cost.
Reckless ARPG Development 2. Oh my god, yeah. I hope you can equip a gem that is the logo. And every time you hit the active ability button, you just say Path of Exile 2.
All right, Mark. Your turn now.
All right.
Welcome to Path of Exile 2.
Woo!
We'd like to start off by showing you some of the gameplay of Act 3, one of the 6 acts in PoE 2's campaign. We're starting here in the jungle depths. Act 3 is set in the ruins of the Vaal civilization, which fell thousands of years ago. Jungle has taken over their former once great cities, and we'll be exploring it
All right, great.
using one of
Familiar
the 6 new
interface.
character classes called the Monk. In
All
PoE
right.
1, we had one character class for each of the combinations of strength, dexterity, and intelligence. When looking at the design of PoE 2, though, we realized that many of the new skills that we were trying to design just didn't really fit thematically with the existing classes that we have.
Turning it up.
Being a spellcaster with a bear form makes sense for Strength Int, but it just doesn't really sound like something a Templar would do. We realized that since we had new mechanics for every attribute combination,
Okay.
it actually made sense to design a new character class to explore the new themes. In PoE 2, every attribute combination has 2 classes associated with it. Strength Int has the Templar or the Druid. On Dexterity, you have the Ranger or the more spear-focused Huntress. And on Dex Int, you have the Shadow and the Monk, which Mark is playing here. Each class has its own 3 ascendancies that let you further specialize the class in a way that only that class has access to.
Oh,
But
fuck
they both
yes.
start at the same location on the passive tree.
Yes!
The quest rewards you are offered on the 2 variants are tailored to the class. But of course, this is PoE. You can still mix and match anything to your heart's content.
Be a reckless player. We're certainly reckless developers. All of our ideas got into the game and somehow are polished and fun.
Looks like
Silverback
we've come across the boss for this
Blackfist.
area.
Oh yeah, this is definitely
In
a
PoE 2,
suffix.
every area of the campaign
affix
contains a
creative
boss
name.
of at least this difficulty. That's over 100 bosses to fight as you make your way through the campaign, and they all have unique mechanics.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked the main bosses in PoE 1 that had a lot of just like, here's a zone that is like a danger zone that you have to get out of, and here's an attack pattern that you need to move through. And incorporating a little more of that in the like campaign, just like regular
As you've been
gameplay.
watching from Mark fighting here, you've probably noticed that melee combat in PoE 2 is a very different feel than before.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of things to
same
add
thing.
mobility to combat. Practically every melee skill in PoE 2 has some kind of movement built into it. But the Monk in
Really?
particular is a melee fighter who specializes in mobility over brute strength.
Dude, can you imagine if this guy dies on stage? Oh man, that's his 23 Savage moment, huh? Woo! Let's go!
So, as Mark has been playing, you might have noticed these blue markers over enemies. Mark has a skill equipped called Killing Palm. Whenever an enemy has a blue indicator over it, it means that the monster has low enough life to cull with Killing Palm. Successfully executing the cull will give you a power charge. This is an important skill for the Monk, since many of his skills interact with power charges. One of the great things about this skill is that it has a built-in dash forward, which makes it much easier to target the skill
Oh,
right at the
that's
point where you need it.
so, of course.
We've done a huge amount of work in PoE 2 to make using skills like this feel satisfying. If you're accidentally targeting slightly off the
Right.
monster, the skill will automatically lock onto the colorable target, and it will even
Oh
do
wait,
a
you're
small
right. There's
amount of
gold in
pathfinding
Path of
around
Exile.
monsters.
What?
We really want to make sure that when you've got an opportunity to use the skill, nothing is going to get in your way.
Gold is a consumable resource.
Once you have some power charges, you're going to need some skills to power up. A great follow-up is Falling Thunder. Falling Thunder without a power charge just creates a relatively small lightning AoE in front of you. But if you do it with power charges, it turns into a pack clearer with a large number of extra projectiles.
This is really clever because, you know,
One thing to notice here
the
is that,
mobility
like
design in
almost
Path
every
of
melee
Exile
skill
was
in
such
PoE2,
that here's your
Falling
movement
Thunder has a
abilities,
little bit
here's
of
your
extra
damage
movement
abilities.
built in, just in case you need it.
So combining
Use the
them
skill
adds a
within
lot
range,
more
and you just
richness
do the
and
flip
frees
in
up
place.
slots for sure.
Use it at a larger range, and your character will move forward while executing it, getting you into position without any time penalty. In PoE2, you also get a short period to redirect your target. Notice how you can start the skill facing one way, then whip the mouse sideways to land the skill in a different direction?
What? Oh, that's
Now, in order to
ooh.
get power charges, you're going to first need to get some lower life monsters into a colorable range. You've got a few options if you want to charge right in. Whirling Assault is great. It doesn't do much damage per hit, but it covers a lot of ground. And notice how you can turn as you do it?
Wow, that
Generally
is
speaking, you never lose control of your character in PoE2.
Wow.
If you make a turn at the right time, you can get a couple of extra hits in on the monsters, getting them in range of your cull.
See, I'm a huge fan of
Follow up with
slower,
Killing Charm,
chunkier
then finish off
combat.
the rest of the pack with
Not
your
all the
Falling
time.
Thunder.
As in, like, I wouldn't necessarily need a game to always have chunky combat at all times. It is really fun to clear a screen in
Now
1
entered
second.
the Vaal
you know?
Mechanarium. This is the place where the Vaal built the various constructs that they relied on to power their civilization.
Now this is a find.
What up, Alva?
A ruin that hasn't been looted? I wonder why nobody's been in here before.
Nice
One
helmet.
useful feature we've added is the ability to call in NPCs to where you are to give you more information or help you with quest objectives, rather than always having to go back to town. In this case, we've called in Alva to find out what to do.
That combat looks
This
really,
mechanism.
really chunky.
If powered with a small soul
All right,
core,
it's
it
lore.
could
We don't pay
open
attention to
that
lore when we
door.
play games.
There should definitely be soul cores somewhere.
Oh, is that lore?
around
Great,
here.
I can talk over this
They
for
had to
sure.
power these constructs
Yeah, like,
somehow.
I cannot stress how clever I
As
think
Alva
it
just
is.
said, we need to find a small soul
To
core
have
open the
motion
door. Let's
connected
explore.
to abilities to make character
If you want
movement
to shave off some
more
life without getting too
multidimensional.
close to some of the more dangerous monsters, a great option is Wind Blast.
God, that's actually
Wind
so
Blast also
smart.
doesn't do too much damage, but it keeps enemies back. The closer they are, the farther they're pushed back. So it's a great option for keeping smaller but higher damage enemies at bay. Note that the bigger the enemy is, the less they'll be pushed back. So trying to push back some giants isn't going to be as effective. And there's the soul core. Let's get back to the door.
Uh-oh. Oh. Well, there's someone's COVID bubble right there. Did it? Judy Rez says, never played Path of Exile before, but I want to get into it. Would it be best to wait for PoE 2 or go into PoE 1 now? There's a new league dropping in PoE 1 in 2 or 3 weeks, unless for some reason Path of Exile 2 becomes available tomorrow, which it won't, but I don't know, let's just say it is. Yeah, you should do that, but just hop right in on the new league, 3D Res.
Now, if you need to defeat tougher
Or just
enemies, it might
download
be
and
time
start
to break
playing
out
it
some of the
today
ice
and just
skills in
mess
Mike's
around,
arsenal.
just have some fun.
Glacial Cascade creates a wave of ice that moves slowly in front of the player. It's pretty ineffective against fast-moving monsters because most of the damage occurs right at the end of the wave, and so a lot of monsters will just walk right by it. But if you can find a way to make a monster stop at just the right place, it can be very effective.
Yeah,
In order to do that, you're probably going to want to freeze some monsters. The monk has a few
Yeah.
different tools to do this. A fairly simple option is to get right in the monster's face with Ice Strike. Ice Strike doesn't do too much damage at the first 2 hits.
Yeah, like
but
you
attacks 3
need
times in
enemies
sequence,
that
and you
are
can get off a
little
combo. There's a
sturdier,
much
combat
higher
that's a
chance
little
to freeze.
slower for a lot of these
Get in
positional
there with the
things to
freeze,
matter.
then roll back and finish the job with Glacial Cascade.
And I really like this.
Now, remember how Glacial Cascade is that extra damaging spike at the end? If you hit a frozen enemy with that spike, it shatters the ice on the enemy and does a devastating amount of damage.
Oh my god,
This
yes.
is a really great combo against bosses, as you'll see later. Oh yeah, and I've just been casually mentioning rolling around. Did I forget to mention that in PoE 2 we added a dodge roll to every character?
What?
Just press spacebar at any time to roll.
Woo, dodge rolls!
There's no cooldown and no limitations.
You can be a ball from
And it even has
Metroid.
pathfinding in it, so you don't get stuck on anything. When you when you dodge roll, you're not invulnerable. If something hits you, you're going to feel it, but most things aren't going to hit you. And that's because while you're rolling, projectiles and melee strikes will always miss. You'll have to roll out of the way of a slam that has AoE, but anyone swinging a sword or throwing a fireball is going to miss. Now, another important function of dodge roll is it lets you cancel out of any skill at any time.
What?
This makes it so you don't feel like you're getting stuck during a long animation when something's about to hit you.
Oh
Really changes how skills with longer attack and cast times play, and makes dodge roll a very reliable feeling way to avoid attacks. So, that's one way to get out of the way of damage, but the monk specializes in mobility, so it would make sense that it would have some more. Wave of Frost is one of our new attacks.
Red Governance is my two favorite kinds of rolls, dodge and cinnamon. Yeah, in that order.
Significant freeze. A great thing about this is that it puts you at a good distance to follow up with a Glacial Cascade and do a whole pile of damage.
Cold penetration support. Oh, it's Grey Maul the Cunning. Slash Narsh the Angry. You know, I'm seeing some of the familiar looking things. I see Energy Shield, I see Health. Small Soul Core. Yeah, like this pace of combat is amazing. Yeah, I mean,
Another skill you can use to get some extra freeze is Shattering Palm. Shattering Palm is a palm strike that puts a small ice bomb on the target. Kill or deal enough damage to the target and the bomb will explode, doing some damage and a significant freeze. It's a great option against bosses where the wave of ice might not be enough to get that freeze off. But
you know, of all the elementals,
I still really want to use Glacial Cascade.
I really like Lightning and Frost the most. Like Fire, Poison, even some Earth magics. I just think Frost and Lightning are so cool.
The final skill we're going to show you today is Flicker Strike. It's a monk skill and another skill that consumes power charges.
Dude, that's
awesome.
awesome.
If you've played PoE 1 before, you know what to expect.
Yeah.
It's a great finisher for tough boss fights, if you were able to get some power charges beforehand.
Dude, the pacing of this is amazing. I mean, given that it's an ARPG, like, there's that sort of wax and wane of how difficult areas are, where you might be blasting through an area and then get to a new area where things are a little more difficult. I can imagine that you might be in an area with this exact power level, with this exact character, and blast through it. And then get to another area where you need to be a little bit more careful as you're going through. Edda123 says a lot of wins from this demo. Dude, fuck yeah.
Here we have Blackjaw, former overseer of the Mechanarium. When the Vaal fell, he was turned to stone and now guards the area.
Now he guards it all alone.
In order to take down this boss, we're going to need all the tools in the monk's arsenal, especially the combo of Freeze and Glacial Cascade. Now, if you're a PoE 1 player, you might think you can't rely on Freeze because there's so many bosses that are immune to it. But in PoE 2, that's changing significantly. In PoE 1, Freeze is a binary mechanic. An attack freezes the target, or it doesn't.
Yeah.
What this basically means is that in PoE 1, we were forced to add freeze immunity to many bosses because Freeze just trivialized them. Because of that, freezing was something you could only really rely on while pack clearing, and not something you could use as a core part of your build for boss fighting. In PoE 2, though, all crowd control mechanics now have internal meters that allow you to build up to a freeze or stun, or whatever other CC mechanic that you're using. It's a little bit like poise from games like Elden Ring, though the meters tend to be a lot smaller than those games. When you freeze an enemy, it increases the amount of freeze you need to do.
Oh my god, they actually just reference poise.
The increased difficulty bleeds away slowly. More freeze will always let you freeze the boss more often, but this system means that you will not.
Yeah, so the idea is that, you know, like in Elden Ring, this is a bit of a simplification, but in Elden Ring you might have this enemy needs 1,000 ticks of freeze to get frozen, this enemy needs 50 ticks of freeze to get frozen. So freeze still affects both of them, but to different degrees. And I mean, like, this does not look nearly as hard as, like, Elden Ring bosses, but, I mean, if you've been looking at the health down there, I mean, it is, like, Blackjaw's been chunking our hero before. Yeah, look at that damage! The guy on stage suddenly just starts choking really hard, can't beat this boss. They keep re-rolling, they didn't have a dev command to skip the boss. Oh my god, guys, the keynote might be 3 hours long, we're super sorry. Oh, shit. Oh, fucking live!
What?
Oh my god, it's not a staged presentation. They're not staging anything.
Oh, no. All right. Let's take two. All right, so this might be a good time to mention that in PoE 2, if you die to the boss, you have to start again from the start. There's no boss cheesing. So, hang on. Oh, there might be a... Are you okay? Oh, 1 second. One technical issue. It's just typing some cheats to...
See, this is why I like live presentations.
Back to the
I mean, I don't
stream.
like them more or less than like pre-recorded presentations, but this is something that adds
Round 2.
so much authenticity. Because, like, look how fast the dude died.
Balance that. Like, come on.
And I think many of you know I'm a pain piggy. I want my games to be tough. All right, so he dies again. The keynote never finishes. Oh, they're gonna... Dude, yes. Oh my god, Grinding Gear Games not only did a live presentation where the human being needed to use skill-based decision-making to overcome the boss, who didn't succeed. Oh my god, the picture in the picture. Is this esports? Are we esports? All right, what's this guy's name? Who is this person? I don't remember what the name was. It's time to do some live commentary. Bing Bong McGillicuddy is in round 2, up against Blackjaw the Remnant. Once turned to stone, wants to be alone. Really upset that Bing Bong McGillicuddy showed up. He's the lead dev, his name is Mark? Not anymore, Bing Bong McGillicuddy. Our hero, Bing Bong McGillicuddy, who has trained for this day his entire life. Has tried his absolute damnedest to be the best showcaser of an unannounced, unreleased boss sequence. Now has his opportunity to prove it. Things are getting a little bit close. Is this his Rudy moment? Is this his Zai backdooring the Ancient versus, who was it, Talon? Oh, whoever it was so funny. All right, dude. Dude, can you believe this? What other dev would be like, oh, he died. Well, make him fucking do it again. Well, I mean, we're not going to showcase shit unless you manage to beat this boss, Mark. Holy shit. I mean, like, and this looks amazing. Like, and the best part is, you know the stakes are actually real. It's not this kind of staged bullshit where it's like, do co-op with your friends, fight against bosses, and they have that sort of, like, staged dialogue. It's like, oh no, there's bogeys on your 6, and they're doing this garbage. No.
Okay,
This is...
Do the... Oh, nice.
Do the... Nice. Like, this sounds like a Discord call. We are watching one of the most significant Discord calls in gaming history. I don't fucking believe it. I bet when this boss dies, Mark's gonna pick up the items, open them, and then pull out a spreadsheet and begin min-maxing. And we're gonna watch him min-max for like 10 minutes. That's when you know that these are real players doing this. All right. Dude, God, I don't even know if I want Mark to win. I mean, if Mark loses again, this will be a historic thing. You know that those clickbait, false journalism websites are going to be like, oh my god, what an incredible drama-filled moment. I can't wait to have ChatGPT summarize this shit. Who's Mark? Mark is, there's an 80% probability that the person who we are watching play, a dev on Path of Exile 2, is named Mark. I don't know if their name is Mark. One individual in chat told me that their name was Mark. But if one of you said, that's Hercules, I'd be like, oh yeah, this fucking is Hercules. Hercules works on this game. He's still really strong, but he likes to play a game where it's not trivial. Oh!
Shit!
He said, oh shit on stage. This is a Discord call. Mark Hercules, lead dev. Damn right.
Come on.
Come on. We get fired unless you actually pass this act.
Get it. They're so good. There you go.
How's that for a performance bonus? No! Get
him.
Come on, Mark!
Right.
Yeah! Oh my god. Woo! Oh, the demotion has been staved off for another 6 months.
All right. Second time's the charm. So... Black Throwers dropped a consumable quest item here.
Let's
called
go,
the Flame
Mark.
Core. It's a permanent
Mark
plus 10 to
Hercules.
spirit. In PoE 2, we really want to make sure that you feel rewarded for exploration. It wouldn't be much good if we made all these awesome optional bosses if we didn't have something great to find for killing them.
Yeah.
One of the things you might find for killing a boss is permanent stat bonuses for your character. I wonder what spirit does. All right, now because this random area is
Jack
different,
says, I
I'm
love
gonna
this
find
lad's
somebody that gets it
glasses.
the hard
Yeah,
way.
they have just the right shape for a jewel slot to go into there.
No longer rehearsed at all.
And it links over the bridge of the nose. Because you can put a support gem in the left eye and a main active gem in the right eye. Okay. Dude's sweating hard. Yeah, dude, let me tell you, this guy's sweating harder than me, and my air conditioning's broken in Los Angeles. It's 95 outside right now, and we're just waiting for inevitable cooking later on. And I still am keeping my shit less sweaty than Mark. Dude, like, look at this. Look at this. Look at the bravery of grinding gear games. The sheer bravery of, like, showing gameplay, letting him lose, and now that that gameplay segment is done, just showing some more gameplay with no commentary. There's no commentary. There's no commentary. We're just watching Hercules, a.k.a. Mark.
Around this way.
Need to use those killing palms more often, Mark.
He's on stage backseating. This is my favorite Discord call I have ever been on.
Your fate is sealed.
Your fate is sealed.
Whoa,
Mark! God! Oh, this game. Oh, I'm going to spend my life playing this fucking thing, man. I'm not even going to eat anymore. It's going to be the only way I can do weight loss, finally. Like, let me tell you, the pacing of this is so up my alley.
Lightning strike. Oh. I think you got completely lost there.
I have no idea where I am.
Dude, this is so
there we
good.
go.
This
All right,
reminds
here we
me
are,
of
here
like
we are.
those
Here's the
restaurants that have no decorations and have shitty plastic chairs. The most expensive thing on the menu is $11, and it's the best food you've ever eaten. You know, because they're like, we're focusing on the thing that actually matters in a restaurant, which is good food. Like, look at this.
All right.
There's not some, tired, repetitious, do anything you want adventure the way that you want to play. And we're not going to show you any
in order
mechanics.
To help with the next area, we're going to call in a sorceress. I'd like to welcome Octavian to the stage, who's going to join the party with Mark, so they can play through together.
Oh, it is Mark! Oh, God, that guy's name's fucking Mark! I had TIL.
All right, 1 second.
Log in. Octavian. And Mark.
Here we go. All right. The Sorceress is the new intelligence-focused character in PoE 2. While the Witch focuses more on occult magic and summoning, the Sorceress is themed around pure elemental destruction. Let's have a look at how she plays.
Let us take you a looky. Cam the Cop says Octavian used to be a Path of Exile streamer. Looks like he still is.
I've ever seen.
Yeah, here,
With
sit down.
this, we could power the canal systems. But it isn't charged.
Despy would have
There is
preferred the
still
Witch.
latent energy in this machinarium from its ancient operation. These lines in the stonework should lead to generators.
Oh my God, he's just
You might need to
all
find
of
some more
this
soul
needs
cores
to
to
be
spin
around the
them up.
ear.
But everything looks to be in surprisingly decent condition.
Look
Maybe
at the
golems have
luster
been
on that
maintaining
gold.
it. In any
Oh,
case, it
yeah.
should still function.
Woo.
We'll have to remove that large core from the wall, of course.
Dude, let me tell you something. My favorite esports hero is Mark. Fucking all
You
about
have
Mark.
some skills here you're probably going to recognize if you've played PoE 1 before, but they feel a bit different now. Spark
Dude,
is great
this,
in these type
look at the run
packages since
animation
it
on this
bounces
sorceress.
around.
She keeps her
Added
head
a
more
pierce
stable than a
support gem,
chicken.
Really allow it to hit an entire room full of targets.
Oh,
For a more
yeah.
single target focus skill, Arc is a great choice. It does much more damage than the first target that you hit.
Oh.
Now, if you find yourself surrounded, it might be a good idea to use Ice Nova. It hits all enemies around you and slows them down with a chill.
Oh!
Just be careful. Getting
Careful,
up close and
Octavian.
personal isn't the ideal place for a sorceress to be. She doesn't have the defenses of a more melee-oriented character. In order to help with that, though, you could use Arctic Armor. In PoE 2, Arctic Armor is a buff that builds up as you stand still. You can see the ice crystals forming around the character.
Oh.
They drop off if you walk. When monsters hit you, they take cold damage and build up to a freeze. So it's a great defense. Just be careful. You have to be standing still for a little while to get the full effect. So trying to stutter step using it isn't the
Holy
best
shit.
strategy.
Someone was like,
Now,
how do we get
Arctic
people to
Armor is an
stand
ongoing
still in
buff.
this game?
Did you notice it didn't
Create an
reserve any
ability
mana?
that literally
How does
that's
that
how
work?
it works.
Well, we were
The
pretty
Sorceress
sick of the
stands
fact that
still.
in PoE 1,
It
basically
fills
every
her
character
account
was
with
playing with no mana pool.
microtransaction
So we
currency.
decided to change the way that reservation works. In PoE 2, there's a new resource called Spirit. Spirit is a dedicated resource that you can use for ongoing effects like Arctic Armor, Heralds, Auras, and Minions.
They have a reservation currency now?
Everyone starts with 100 Spirit, which is enough for most ongoing effects. But if you want more, you're going to need to get some more Spirit, which is available on mods from items and on the passive tree. But if you're willing to give up your offhand slot, the easiest way to get it is by holding a Scepter. Find out more about that in the items talk later on.
What?
Now, if you want to increase the cold damage that you're dealing, you can always use Frost Bomb. It places a bomb on the ground that reduces enemies' cold resistance while it's ticking down. It's a great opportunity to use some cold skills before it explodes.
Jesus.
And speaking of cold skills, a great skill to use on monsters with lower cold resistance is Comet. This is a new skill in PoE 2 and it hits pretty damn hard. It costs a lot of mana and has a really long cast time, but it's worth the wait. It does a devastating amount of damage. To help you out of danger, your character moves back slightly as it casts. It's pretty hard to hit fast-moving opponents, but it's great on tougher enemies that stand still, or even a larger pack if you're further away and can predict where they're going to move.
Did that, oh my god, movement with abilities,
Now,
brilliant.
if you run out of mana casting too many of those, I guess in an emergency you could use your free-to-cast Fireball. So where did that come from, you ask? Well, this is a great opportunity to explain the way that we've changed caster weapons in PoE 2. Now in PoE 1, caster weapons had a default melee attack that nobody used. And because they had that, they also had a bunch of attack mods that would spawn on them that were useless to a caster.
Hey, Mithril,
In
thanks
PoE
for
2,
the
we
20
wanted to clean
gifted
that up.
subs.
So each staff now comes
Ah.
with a built-in free-to-cast spell.
What?
Just put it on and spam away to your heart's content. Now this particular staff is the base type that you'll get right on the starting beach.
Dude,
so it's quite
fuck
likely
yeah.
that you'll have outgrown it by now.
Dude, Mithrils, are you
that's
as
why
pumped
we've
as I
also,
am?
Made a lot of staves with more utility-focused powers for casters to use. Here we have a crystal staff. It has a pretty cool built-in spell called Unleash. Using it slams your staff on the ground and will allow you to triple cast whatever you cast with your next spell. Now, of course, what you're probably going to want to use with that is something powerful, and Comet is a great option.
Oh, yeah, oh, they're so irresponsible as developers. They're so
You'll
reckless.
notice that Unleash is one of the few skills in PoE 2 with a cooldown. In general, we really try to avoid using cooldowns because we really hate the feeling that combat is just waiting to cast your next spell. But it does make sense for Unleash since it's free to cast, and it's something we want you to use situationally anyway. Now, if you're facing something tough, you might need to try out Mana Tempest. Mana Tempest creates a circle of power which your character literally hovers over the ground. While in the circle, your mana drains, but it powers up all your spells. Lightning projectiles will fork, beams will chain further, and you also do a lot more damage.
Oh my god. Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god, dude. It's so good. I mean, no wonder people watch Path of Exile streams.
So,
I don't know
with
what
all
any
these
of these
skills,
enemies
here's
are.
a great combo to try.
I don't know the specifics of these
First, cast
abilities,
Frost Bomb
but it
to reduce
feels...
the target's cold
Careful!
resistance. Then
It
use
feels
Mana
so
Tempest to
good.
increase your damage. Follow up with Unleash, and then triple cast Comet to do a truly insane amount of damage. Where those ghosts come from?
Holy shit.
These ghosts.
Yeah.
So annoying.
This
Whose
rare
fault is
mon-
that?
This rare monster has dropped an uncut gem, and that's a great opportunity to talk about how skill gems drop in PoE 2.
Equipping this will
Specific
summon
gems,
Adam
you can find
Sandler.
uncut gems. Just right-click on them and pick whatever skill you want. Ignore the, whoops. Whoa, whoa, whoa. The gem will come pre-leveled to the level of the area that dropped it. So it's a lot easier to change between skills in PoE 2. This time, I think it might be cool to grab one of our meta gems. Meta gems are skills that can have other skills socketed into them, changing how they work.
What the fuck?
In this case, we're going to select Cast on Shock. Now, let's equip this thing in the skill screen and choose which spell to trigger with it. I think Comet might be fun. Now, because Cast on Shock reserves Spirit, we'll need to first disable our Arctic Armor. We have to decide if we'd rather have the extra defense or the extra offense of the Cast on Shock using our Spark.
That extra offense.
In PoE 2, trigger gems use a system of filling up cast time on each trigger. Basically, if a skill has a short cast time, it will trigger really often. And if it has a long cast time, like this Comet here, it will take a lot longer to trigger. You can see on the top left corner that there's a counter that shows you how long until the next trigger. Hopefully he shot some monsters. There we go. And there you have it. That's using Cast on Shock. We've automatically cast Comet whenever we're using our lightning skills.
Dude, fuck every other ARPG. Look at this.
So, we found the generator. Time to power it up.
Oh, that looks really good.
As power is restored to the Mechanarium, all the constructs are coming back to life. We'll need to fight them on the way back to the charged Soul Core. So, one thing that PoE 1 players might have noticed is this character has both lightning spells and cold spells.
Yeah.
That's pretty inefficient, right? It's a big no-no for most builds because any specialization into cold or lightning isn't going to affect the other element. And generic elemental damage increases are not going to be as powerful as focusing on a single element. Well, in PoE 2 we have another major new system to introduce to solve these kinds of problems. And it starts, oddly enough, with weapon swap. Now, in PoE 1, weapon swap isn't really used much for its originally intended purpose. We imagine that people were going to be swapping in and out between different weapons to deal with whatever situation they were in.
Yeah.
People just don't do that at all. And a large reason for that is because it's really, really awkward. In PoE 2, we wanted to solve all of that. The staff Octavian is using here has an ice mod on it that makes it great for when he's using his ice spells. But we would also like to be able to make sure that this build works just as well for his lightning spells. If Octavian equips his previous staff in his second weapon set, you can see that it appears on the character's back. Now, we're going to open up the skill screen. If Octavian opens the skill options for his lightning skills, you can see here that you can choose which weapon sets are usable with each skill. First, we uncheck set 1 from being used by his lightning skills. Then we go through the cold skills and turn those off with his lightning weapon.
I mean, this is so...
Take a second.
If I can remember where they all are.
Yeah. Now, when we use Spark, the character will automatically switch to the lightning staff on his back.
And announcing a new partnership with Microsoft Excel.
And when Octavian uses his Ice Nova, his character automatically switches to his Ice Staff before using it.
Oh! Ah! Ah! Ah!
You can configure each skill for which set to use, or both if you don't mind which. There's a very short time penalty to switching, so it can be good to leave some skills on both sets if it doesn't matter which weapon set you're using. But we still have a problem, passives. Wouldn't it be nice if we could specialize in both cold and lightning passives on the character? Well, in PoE 2 you can. Hopefully Mark can deal with those monsters while we do this demo. So, we're on the passive skill screen here, and you can see that we are close to both a cold and a lightning cluster. At the top right of the screen, you can see that we have some weapon set specific points to allocate. If Octavian holds shift, he can allocate set 1 to the cold passives, and then allocate set 2 to the lightning passives. Check it out.
Yes, dude,
As
purified,
we
a
use our
quantum
weapon swap,
passive tree.
The skills allocate changes from one build to the other automatically. So whenever we cast the appropriate spell, the character's passives reconfigure on the fly to the correct build for that spell. Now, you can't do this with every single passive on your tree. Only points granted from skill books will allow this kind of dual specialization. So you're not going to be changing from a mace slamming warrior into a fire elementalist with the press of a button. But it certainly increases the number of options you have for builds. There's a huge number of places where the system can shine. You can augment your dagger shadow build with traps, or have a great curse set up on your witch with one spec, and then move to your chaos debuff spells with the other, for example. It really opens up your options. Now, another fun meta gem to try out is called Barrier Invocation. This works a little bit like the trigger gems I talked about before, but this one charges up as your energy shield is hit by monsters. We're going to put an Ice Nova in this one.
Okay.
The more energy shield you lose, the more charge builds up. We'll just get that one equipped there. Yep. So yeah, the more energy shield you lose, the more charge will build up until the point you're able to cast the socketed skill instantly. There we go. So you lose some energy shield, and at just the right time, invoke Ice Nova to cast all the stacked up copies in one instant cast. If you keep losing shield, you'll build up even more charge for even more casts. So it's a great defensive option in an emergency.
This is the best thing in the universe. This is the best thing in the universe. I don't know whether it's sit down or stand up. This is amazing.
Overkill.
And here we are back at the charged soul core. All we have to do now is take it.
All right. Okay. Go ahead, Joyce. It's almost as if the devs play the game and make decisions based on their experiences. Mm-hmm. Oh.
Over, what the... Don't die this time, guys.
Oh, dude. Zikoatl, Warden of the Poor.
Frozen? Nice.
Is Zikoatl, is that like a Mayan word root? I'm pretty mediocre at knowing.
Oh god.
Coatl is Mayan. Wow, Mayan or Aztec. Is Sean's AC not working? Correct. My AC is busted right now. It's about 85 degrees in this room. Or 30 degrees Celsius. A little under 30. Dude, this boss is so sick. Oh, dude!
Heavy stun. Okay.
Dude, and I love this little percentage meter up there. That even when you have not yet procced like a freeze, you actually get some more information. This game looks unbelievable. This game looks unbelievable. Like, I love Path of
Exile. Getting real lucky
Exile.
with those freeze procs this time.
I mean, I have not even gotten very deep in Path of Exile as a player, and I still would label it as one of my 10 out of 10 games. And this looks astonishingly better than that 10 out of 10 game.
Frozen.
That's a chill indicator, not a freeze. I mean, what? I don't give a shit, Safewood. I don't give a shit. How about that? I don't care what it's called. You know what? That's a heat indicator now. Don't you ever come to my channel and correct me, huh?
Get away from him. Get away. Get away. Triangle.
Reverse chill. Oh, dude.
Oh.
Oh.
Charlie.
Dude,
Nice.
and with so many abilities that have movement effects attached to them, you can make the movement patterns of enemy attacks more interesting because you know that players will have more than one movement ability.
3 demo zones around ExileCon. Now, if you're physically here at this event and you get to play the demo, just remember, it's a different game than before. It's a lot harder. You're probably going to run the first pack of monsters and just die. I really recommend you read the signs. They have good advice on how to combine your skills effectively, and remember, dodge rolls on spacebar, use it. You're just going to die otherwise. So your next question is likely to be, when is the beta? Well, we're in our last year of development, but we're still finishing acts, adding skills, and balancing everything. The closed beta is going to start on June 7th, 2024. Path of Exile 2 has been a long time coming.
I
We're
was
incredibly
really
excited to be near the
fucking
finish line,
wrong,
but we're
man.
just
I
not
thought
quite
it was
there
gonna
yet.
be next
We're
week.
determined not to rush this and make sure we get everything right. In the meantime, there's a lot in store for PoE 1.
Oh, I was really
I'll hand
wrong.
back over to Chris, and he's going to talk about what's coming up.
Off by a year.
Very much.